All right. The little thing says I am live. Hello, folks. Andrew here, the face who runs the place. Popcorn and whiskey on a Saturday evening. Here we go. Let me get a couple little cleaning methods or housekeeping methods or things going on here. All right. Because the Facebook is weird still. All right. Got that. Got that. Come over here. Come over here. Do this. Do that. Okay. All right. I do believe I am live here now. Let me make sure the audio's up. Okay. So that's good. All right. So come over here. All right. So, first of all, welcome everybody. Popcorn and whiskey, Saturday night. Got the old whiskey going on here. Maybe I'll get some popcorn here in a bit. Man, we got stuff going on tonight. It's going to be different than usual. And I say that because I have different setups tonight on mine. You can't see it, but behind the scenes, I have different setups. I changed a couple of things with my podcast mixer and my headphones, and so we'll see once everything gets started whether I can do this or not, and if you can hear it. So if you're watching right now and you can hear it, well, let me just make sure on the different platforms that I can hear it when I talk here. Wait a second here. Yeah, okay. So on Facebook, I can hear it there. All right. So what we're going to do tonight is a little bit different. Later on, I'm going to play something for you, but I'll tell you about that in just a second. So what I did with the mixer is not that you really care, not that you can see, but I changed a couple of inputs. So hopefully I can control the sound better, not from me, but from when I play music or play videos or something in the background. I should be able to control the volume differently now. And also the mixer that I use is just a basic one. I mean, you got all these fancy dancy. Yes, I'm going to talk a little bit of tech talk now. Tech talk, not TikTok, but tech talk, as in technical stuff. So I'll be talking a little bit technical stuff right now. Because if you're wanting to start a podcast, start a live stream, anything of that sort, I can help you out with some of the basics, some of the equipment to use. And depends on what you want to use, whether you have overkill or not. For instance, this microphone, probably a little bit overkill. Do you need it? No. I think it looks pretty cool on camera, but do I really need it? Nope. But that's a whole different ballgame there. All right. So, also, I what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the mixer I have. It's basically, now you can get it for $20, $30, and the mixer is just peachy. You don't need anything more than that. You can spend a couple of $100. You can spend something from Rode. It's called the Rodecaster or Rodecaster Pro 2, I do believe. It's $500-600, which can do everything, even probably make the whiskey for you. But I am not in a position where I want to get that. Oh, what is that? I'm looking at my window. I think I might see a couple of raccoons out there. Because if you didn't know, I live in the middle of nowhere. And if I could, I would show you. Matter of fact, I could show you. Maybe later. Because what we're going to do tonight is I have an interview I did this week for my Popcorn and Whiskey show. And I talked to dating coach Renee Suzanne. That's right, Renee Suzanne, dating coach. If you're in the Chicagoland area, basically anywhere online, but she's in the Chicagoland area. It's something you might want to consider. We talked about dating apps, profile pictures, attraction, and we got into a little bit of a discussion: single man versus single women, what we look for, what they look for, and things of that sort. It was pretty good. So I'll be playing that in its entirety here in just a little bit. Also, something I'm going to be promoting later on, or even I promoted now, is questions for Andrew. I got this because I get asked questions on the fitness platform quite a bit from different folks that see me around town or email me and things of that sort. Because if you didn't know, I have a fitness podcast, health and fitness podcast. It's called Top Fitness Strategies. Find it on YouTube. Find it on wherever your podcasts are played. You can find it there as well. And it's all about the fitness over 50 crowd, and that's getting a little bit getting some traction, which is good. All right, so that's a good thing. All right. Also, if you're here for the first time, thank you. If you see over here, it says buy me a drink or buy me a coffee. That's right. Go check it out, andrewpoletto.com/drink. And what are you going to see when you go there? Let me just show you. All right, here. This is what you're going to see. Wait a second here. Hold on a second. Let's see. There. Oop. Oh, okay. There you go. That's what you're going to see. All right. And hold on. Let me do this so I can see it as well. Come over here. Put that over there. It's good when you have a dual screen because it really helps out everything. Okay. See this? This is my, it's called coffee or Ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com, coffee, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know the technical or the correct term for that, but you go here and buy me a drink. All right. That's it. Go buy me a drink and we'll have fun and we'll go that route. Okay. So just follow the prompts, get over there and no problemo. Sound good? All right. Boom. Come back over here. Where am I? Over there. There I am. Okay. Come back over here and we can do that. Fantastic. Also, what I want to get into tonight a little bit is because I mentioned the health and fitness. I wanted to tell you a couple of the things that I offer over in my health and fitness stuff. Topfitnessstrategies.com. Just a second here. Present. Share screen. I have all kinds of stuff over there. First of all, it should default into this. I don't know why. All right. First of all, over here, this is, you can join the Top Fitness Strategies virtual gym by going here. And here's what the virtual gym is all about. And this is going to be on my first try at this new setup that I have to see if you can actually hear it or not. Let me see. Hey, folks. Andrew here, Top Fitness. Okay. I don't know if you can hear that or not. I cannot hear it into my. Okay. Now, in all honesty, it should be
the strategies. Yes, I am the face who runs the place. I am your virtual person.
If you can hear that, let me know.
And welcome.
If you can't hear
to the
that,
virtual gym. That's right. This is your virtual gym. And what do I mean by your virtual gym? You don't got to go anywhere. If that makes any English grammatical sense, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't got to go anywhere. Matter of fact, I bring everything to you in a virtual gym. And by that, I mean that once a week, twice a week, however often, I'm going to send you something in your inbox via email.
All right. Can you hear that? If you're watching, if you can hear that, let me know.
And that something could be anywhere from a tip, could be anywhere to a product review, could be anywhere from a bonus interview I'm doing with somebody, could be all kinds of things. And it's up to you to decide whether you like it or want to use it or not. But the thing is, it's given to you. It's my gift to you for being part of the virtual gym. Now, on top of that, there are two things I'm going to give you for being part of the virtual gym. No commitment, no anything. All right, two things. And here, this is a short document that I wrote several years ago, and I'm just going to read it here. It says weight loss for the fitness over 45 crowd. Before this was fitness over 50, it was fitness over 45. Makes sense, right? As you go up, and but not not to discourage anybody that's not in those age.
Okay, so you get the point. So if you go to topfitnessstrategies.com, I tell you what, I will even post this in here. So go to www.fitnessstrategies.com. All right, just a second here. You can see what I'm talking about. That's the virtual gym. Boom. Over here to Facebook. Okay, you got to do everything 2 different ways on Facebook. Come over here. Boom. Put that in. Put that there. Okay. Well, I hope you can still hear me over there. So if you're watching and you can hear that, great, fantastic. All right, so that's one thing. Also, I've written a couple of books. All right, just a second here. All right, well, before we do that, let's get to this other one. This is called something I did with a good friend of mine several years ago. It's called the booty call.
Hi, everybody. It's Andrew at Top Fitness Strategies. You know how important it is how you look when you're walking away from somebody,
So if
right?
you're watching, you can hear this. Let me
Backside,
know.
midsection. Well, I got something right now. It's called the booty call. Let me give you a little bit background on what this actually is. Now, before there was Top Fitness Strategies, I had a website and a business I called the Interview Series, where I interviewed all different walks of life and different cultures and things of that sort. And part of that, I branched off into the fitness edition. So it was called the Interview Series Fitness Edition. You might see that floating out there somewhere. And during that, I interviewed a good friend of mine. Her name is Sherilyn. She goes by Coach Red. She's a virtual personal trainer. Matter of fact, she was my first virtual personal trainer, my first trainer, matter of fact. And we became friends and so on and so forth.
So okay, so there you go. That's what I have going on over there for that one. Stop sharing that. Okay, the booty call. I also wrote a couple of books over there. So if you just go to topfitnessstrategies.com, you'll see what I'm talking about over there. Okay, so that's what we have over there. Top Fitness Strategies. Okay, so I mean, I will show you the other ones maybe later, but now at this point, I'm not going to. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the interview I did with dating coach Renee Suzanne. You know, we'll talk about the dating stuff and make sure I got this right. Oh, it comes over here. Okay. Do that, share that. Boom. Okay, so there you go. The dating apps, profile pictures, attraction, interview with dating coach Renee Susanna. I'm going to let this play. I may stop it every so often to do my commentary in there, but I'll put this on widescreen and here we go. Hi, folks. Andrew here, Popcorn and Whiskey. I am the face who runs the place. This is going to be different. This is something out of the Okay, maybe now. Okay, because if you can't hear it, all right, maybe it was something I was doing. So no sound, Brenda. Look, okay, now let's see if this is going or not here.
Mhm.
And George about dating and how I could improve myself and what on earth was wrong with me. Yeah, and this is what I spent the night doing back in the early 2000s, just trying to figure out like how was I going to get this thing that I wanted. It was something that I really cared about, but it
Okay,
seemed
Brenda, do I have sound now? Do you,
really complicated. I would try to do that, and then when I would just get too disappointed about it, I would just work and take care of the kids. And I had a really demanding job anyway. And then one day I was 40, and there was still and all the kids were grown up, and then I no, I really gotta fix.
oh, okay, I know why. Okay. Okay, all right, because I had it on two different screens.
Figure this out.
Okay, now tell
It's
me
not
if you
the
can
kids
hear it.
anymore. There must be something that I need to learn about what I'm doing
Tell me if this is better,
so that
Brenda.
I can have the kind of relationship I want, because this isn't
Mhm.
working. And so I really, it once again in earnest devoted myself to like I was going to figure this out. And I took classes, I took workshops. I
Okay,
eventually did
I know what
hire
I
my
did wrong.
own dating coach, and I really loved it so much that I decided that that's what I wanted to switch my career to. I was initially in corporate finance, accounting and insurance and financial things, and I was kind of over it by the time my kids grew up, and this was a great career to switch into, and it's so very fulfilling. And I did end up meeting and marrying a wonderful man that I met on Tinder 6 years ago. So my story does have a happy ending.
Well, all right. You've opened up so many threads here. So, all right. First of all, when I say this, I don't want it to come across as anything. What is a dating coach? What does a dating coach do? Because I've heard this term, and I'm I don't want to call it a fan, but I used to study the art of pickup. All right, so I'm being in the position you are. I'm sure you've heard of a guy by the name of David D'Angelo. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
you've heard of a Mystery. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of the guy called Mystery. And what is his name? He wrote the book called The Game.
Mm-hmm.
Strauss, Neil Strauss. I'm sure you've heard of those guys. So that's my background, and it's not dating. That's the art of pickup, if you will. So
Right.
two different things. So what is a dating coach?
Well, I essentially help women get what they want. Mostly, most of the women who come to me really want a long-term relationship. They want a connection. Most of them want marriage. They're terrified of admitting it, but at the end of the day, that's what they want, either marriage or something that closely resembles marriage. They want a long-term, committed, monogamous relationship, someone to share their life with. And I help them to get that. I help them to date in such a way that they are able to find men who want that and handle themselves in such a way as to not keep sabotaging it, which is what I was doing for a very long time. And that's and what you brought up is a very good point. So I think a lot of people assume that other people want what they do. You've got these people who just want to pick people up. You've got these people who just want the hookup or the fling, maybe for whatever reason. They came out of a long-term relationship. They didn't get to do it when they were younger, whatever. And that's fine. People have every right to want whatever it is that they want. And so do you, right? And my clients, we women who grew up in a certain time, we were taught not to answer any, ask any questions. Is everybody back then, it was assumed, wanted to settle down, get a dog in a house and have a kid and a whatever. And so we were brought up, my generation of ladies, to just let the guy handle that. And it comes around to that if you just, smile and look pretty and wait for the guy to bring these things up. But we don't all want the same thing anymore on these dating sites, on these dating apps. People want all kind of things. And when ladies go out there just assuming it's like it was back in the day, you can end up being somebody's hookup or somebody's pickup or somebody's whatever, get incredibly hurt and jaded, and then hate everybody. And a lot of times I end up talking to people like that who've been incredibly disappointed by their results in the dating world just because they don't know how to navigate today's dating climate.
Okay. I completely understand what you're talking about there. And once again, this is why this is going to be so much fun, or why because we're looking at this from two different perspectives. You're coming from the female perspective, who is looking for a long-term relationship. I'm coming from a male's perspective, who in the past wasn't looking for a long-term relationship. That's, the 20s and 30s. Most guys aren't at that point. Excuse me. And when you say dating apps, especially for the younger kids, because I'm also a substitute teacher, so I hear this all the time from the kids. Dating apps are considered to them hookup apps, and I know you've heard this a gazillion times.
Yeah, all the time.
And so when you said you met your husband in Tinder, which around this area, at least where I live, Tinder is notorious for being the hookup app. But you say you find the love of your app.
Yeah, and it's also the #1 app for marriage now.
Really?
Really, and that surprised me too.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, unless you're going to something like Adults Are Us or whatever, I don't know what, nobody can make you have a hookup. So a lot of times these things sort of evolve. So I know Tinder used
Mark.
to be,
How you doing, buddy?
People still
I don't know what you meant by
an impression that Tinder is all about hookups, and it can be.
That
But you
by
can meet
choice,
a guy
Andy.
at the grocery store who wants a hookup. You can meet a guy at church who wants a hookup. These guys who want hookups, they're everywhere. There's no place that you can go where there's not guys who want whatever it is that they want, because people want all kinds of things, and they're out there wandering around in the world mixed in with all the other people. So that's why I highly recommend navigating your dating search and asking questions and having conversations about these things, because you just can't assume that other people all want what you want, no matter what their age is. It's funny because you say like guys in their 20s and 30s are usually looking for short-term relationships and such. And that's probably more true than not. But there are the occasional guys who do want to settle down and have kids. And how do you know when you ask them? Because you can't just assume that, oh, you're 20, you're 30, you must just want hookups. You have to ask people instead of just assuming things and then, guessing wrong.
Okay. All right. And for those who are just tuning in, I'm talking with Renee Suzanne from ReneeSuzanneCoaching.com. She is a dating coach for ladies over 40 years old. So let me ask you this. Do you work with men at all, or just strictly with ladies?
I work with women. It's funny. No men have ever asked to work with me, which is fine. I really do have. I really do. My message is primarily driven toward women for a few really good reasons. I find that men are really good shoppers for women. They know what they want. They're not afraid to talk about what they want. They're not afraid to ask questions. They're used to putting themselves out there to get what they want. They don't get as tied up in knots about rejection as women do. They just get out there and do the thing. And those are all topics that I cover with my clients that men probably don't need to hear as much.
Okay. All right. Now, this is something I just thought of, and as you'll find out, Renee, I jump around quite a bit. I'm typing stuff to ask questions as we go along, and so I want to keep the conversation going. But if something pops into my head, I need to ask this, or I'm going to forget it. Then I'm going to kick myself later for not asking this. So, the over 40 guy, or in my case, over 50 guy, single. it's in today's society, it almost seems like it's taboo to go out and talk to somebody, talk to another female, or assuming it's a male female thing. All right, that's what I'm assuming here. Go
Sure.
ahead and talk to a lady. One, because the stigma out there is, I guess the Me Too stuff, all that stuff that was going on in the past.
Do you mean
And
approaching, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to
no,
be clear. Do you mean approaching someone in real life, like you're scared to walk up to women
yes,
in the wild? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. It's exactly that. And I'm not talking dating apps right now. Just talking approaching somebody that you find attractive.
Yeah.
It's scary is not the right word. Scary is not the approaching and talking to someone, walking up and saying hi. The scary part is, what's the reaction going to be? Am I going to be on the 6 o'clock news for being quote
Yeah.
unquote a stalker or something? Or how do you overcome that kind of stigma that's out there, or do you?
That is real. That is real. And that is why I highly recommend using dating sites and apps, because so many people are very attached to meeting people in real life, but that's harder than ever. And you just named a really good reason why.
Mhm.
Because men, you might go out and about, and a lot of times when we ladies get a little older, we're like, oh my God, nobody notices us anymore. Nobody asks us out. It used to be back when we were in our 20s and 30s, we could go to a bar or a restaurant or the grocery store and men would talk to us. And now, oh my God, it's so terrible. How am I ever going to meet anyone? Well, this is part, you very well may be getting attention from men who would like to talk to you, and like you said, are afraid they're going to be, their picture is going to be all over the social media and some kind of website that they did something terrible by saying hello to you. And
Yep.
that is real. That is absolutely real. The nice thing about the dating apps and the dating sites is you can fairly assume that people are on there because they want to talk to other single people and find someone to date.
Okay. All right. So you recommend dating apps. You don't recommend, well, and I don't want to say going to bars, because at my age, especially, and I would say most ladies don't go to bars anymore. And I'm only using bars as a general term here, because when we were younger in the 20s, when we were 20s, early 30s, that was a thing to go out to a bar. That's what you did. Now it's like, you know what? If I go to a bar, and the last thing I want to do is try to meet somebody, because being an old man like myself, as I always say, again, 6 o'clock news is going to be showing my picture tomorrow, and that's not going to be fun. So if you don't use dating apps, let's say somebody is not technologically savvy, where would they go? Or do you even recommend somebody?
Oh my God, if you don't use dating sites or dating apps, are you really serious about finding someone? Because here you have, that is like, seriously, I hear this all the time. But, back in the day, people used to like climb in, wagons and carriages and set about the Oregon Trail and get across the country. And now we got airplanes, right? And
Yeah.
I would say to you, why on earth are you running around in that horse and buggy when you could hop on a jet and be there by lunchtime? Like, seriously, if you learn the technology, if you really want to find someone, it is well worth the investment. It's not that bad. You'll grow some new neural connections and it might keep you from having dementia later. Like, learn how to use them. It's not that hard. You can learn this stuff.
Okay. All right. And I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not against dating apps.
Right.
Again, I'm coming from a different perspective as you,
A
looking at
lot
it.
of people are. A lot of people are scared of them.
Scared is was a word, right? That wasn't the word I was going to use, but more, and scared, intimidated. No, but the dating apps that I'm on now, I'm not religious, hardcore, real serious about trying to figure out and understanding them. Do I go on a couple of apps? Yeah. But it seems like it's always the same faces, the same pictures, and the same ladies that you see all the time on there. So how do you, and if there is, I don't know if there's a way to do this or not, how do you increase that without going like 400 miles away, or should you?
Well, you can widen your search. You can widen your age range. I always encourage my clients to be as open-minded about everything possible. Know what your absolute must-haves are, and then be as open-minded as possible about everything else. Because if you've been single for a long time and you're not finding somebody and you're looking at the same old people, like assuming you live in a decently populated area, I'm just going to say it does get harder when you get older. It's not, that's not news to anyone probably, but it does. It's not impossible, but it does get harder, and you're not getting any younger. So figure out what your deal breakers are, be as open-minded as you can be about everything else, and realize that if you've been single for 5, 10, 15 years, you've got to branch outside of your type. Your type's not working. What you're doing now isn't working if you want a different result. So you've got to change some things, and I would put being open about everything you can be at the top of what might need to be changed.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, one of the things I've been doing is I'm doing a little bit of research on you. Of course, that's what I got to do behind the scenes, is listen to a few of your podcasts and your videos. By the way, you can go to YouTube and what is it? Renee Suzanne, that's your YouTube channel. Yeah, Renee
Yes.
Suzanne is your YouTube channel. So make sure you guys go there, check it out, subscribe, and do all good stuff. So I've been going through some of your podcasts and some of your videos. So I want to go through, if you don't mind, and ask you a couple of questions based on some of the titles of your podcasts and videos. Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, a second ago, you said that maybe you have to get on a plane and go somewhere to find somebody, or however you phrased it. The horse and carriage is no longer around. You got to get with the technology type thing. One of your latest podcasts, it says why I don't recommend starting a long distance relationship. Wouldn't getting on a plane, going somewhere constitute a long distance relationship?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. Okay, so when I was talking about the horse and buggy, when I was talking about the horse and buggy versus the jet, I was talking about if you want to get somewhere. I do not recommend getting on jets to meet people.
Okay.
This is as a mode of transportation. Yeah, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yeah, me too. I was like, holy moly. I'm definitely not going to get on a jet to go anywhere to meet someone for a date.
No,
way.
I'm with you there. Yeah, no, I
Okay.
do not recommend long distance relationships. Please date local people, unless you want a fantasy/vacation relationship. And hey, if that's what you want, that's fine.
Mhm.
But if you want a real long-term committed relationship that's going to turn into something serious, please date local people.
Okay. Now, see, your local is different than my local. You're from the Chicagoland area. Chicago is like the third, fourth largest population city in the United States. I live in a place that's probably just the opposite. I mean, the place I live has less than 5,000 people. Nearby, you go, I think the nearest town has maybe 10, 11, 12,000 people, something like that. Beyond that, I got to drive a couple hours to get to any kind of major metropolitan at all. So how do you navigate the smallness versus the vastness? If I came to you and say, hey, I need help, you're used to being somebody in a place where it has a gazillion people versus somebody comes in a small population. Is there a difference of how you would treat that person that's come to you for advice or coaching?
Yeah, so I define local as in time, not actual.
Okay.
As the crow flies, or get out your map or whatever. So I define so for someone who lives in not a super well populated area, I usually recommend within an hour. If you lived in a place like Chicago, I would say you can for sure find somebody within an hour of where you live. This is Chicago, for heaven's sake.
Mhm.
I would stretch that to 90 minutes if you lived in a less well populated area. But the fact is, there are only a certain number of people who live in your area. Have you dated all of them? Have you been as open as you can? Are you willing to move? How important is this to you? Those are all, because I can't make people apparate into being in certain geographic
Yeah, I know.
areas, but I can help you maximize what you've got to work with. So I would recommend that you either move or be more open to the people who are local to you, or your search might take a bit longer, but be very clear about what it is that you're looking for and be as open-minded as you can about everything else.
Okay. All right. I want to ask you a couple of things about the apps. Well, I guess more specifically profiles, because as far as I know, and I'm not well versed with a whole lot of apps. I mean, I've been in a couple here and there. I'm assuming every app you have some sort of profile you write on there. Is that correct? Pretty much.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I
Okay.
am not an expert on all of the sites and apps. There's no way I could be. But I recommend having a really good profile, something that doesn't sound like everybody else's, and something that clearly communicates what you're looking for so that you can attract the kinds of people that are looking for the same sort of relationship that you are.
Okay. So now I'm going to get a little bit personal here. And if you don't want to answer this, I can edit this out. Not a problem there. So when you met your husband, did you approach him on the dating app or did he approach you?
We met on Tinder. So
Yeah.
what happens on Tinder is you match and then somebody reaches out. But actually the nice thing about Tinder is you can't get a bunch of messages from people that you haven't liked. You have to like them and they have to like you in order for you guys to communicate on the app. So a
Okay.
lot of other apps, a lot of women are inundated with messages from guys that they aren't interested in and can get super overwhelmed. But that doesn't happen on Tinder because you can only hear from people who match with you. So you have to like each other. So my husband and I matched, and then he reached out to me and sent me a very nice opening email.
Okay. So what attracted you to him to like him? And do you know what attracted you to him for him to like you?
I have really good pictures. I think
That's
that
where I was going
helps.
with this. I was going with that. That's where I was going.
Yes, please have really good pictures. Everybody likes to see an attractive person on a dating site or an app. So get good pictures. Good recent pictures help everything. They stop the scroll, because when you are looking on these dating sites and apps, all you see is a bunch of tiny little thumbnails, and you just swipe and swipe and swipe and swipe, and it can be kind of overwhelming and exhausting at times. So if you have a really good picture, that's going to help you. And Tinder, I believe, I know at the time, only gave you 500 characters. So you have to limit whatever you have going on in Tinder to that. So
Okay.
I had written a really nice profile. He still remembers it. It was a good profile. I help all my clients do this. My profiles are more like stories about the person. It's not like, hey, I don't smoke, I don't drink. If you're allergic to cats, don't message me. That's like, come on, that's not entertaining to read at all. You want to read a story that sort of captivates you and gives you an idea of what kind of person this is. So I wrote a really good profile like I would help my clients write. My husband's profile, sometimes I read it to my clients because I want them to be open-minded, because my husband's profile was very, very basic.
Mhm.
And it didn't give any sort of hint at how amazing he was. But I was on Tinder and I was being open-minded, so I matched him because you're on Tinder. You can't be super picky about every little thing. And I'm glad that I was, because I found out how amazing he was pretty quickly. But from his profile, honestly, he had some pictures, regular guy kind of stuff, but his opening message was really good. He actually bothered to write a thoughtful opening message instead of "Hey" or "How's your day?" That's will help you stand out for sure.
Well, that's too much of a tease. What was his opening line? are you at liberty to say, or is that something that you reserve?
He had a really thoughtful opening message. So, I mean, we're talking 6 years ago now. So it was something like, it was New Year's Day we matched. And he said, oh, he said, hi, you're beautiful. What did you do for New Year's Eve? I did such and such, it was just a really thoughtful opening message. I could tell he read my profile. I could tell it wasn't a cut and paste that he'd sent to 50 other women.
Mm-hmm. But that's the first message. But I'm talking about his profile.
Oh, his profile was very basic. Like I said, I often read it to my clients because I'm like, please be open-minded. He doesn't have to be Shakespeare. It said something about he liked craft beers and relaxing outdoors. I mean, very ordinary, regular guy stuff. I didn't,
Okay. So then his picture is what really got you then.
His pictures
Not
were
so much.
his pictures were ordinary too. They weren't terrible, obnoxious, grainy pictures of him with no shirt holding up a fish, but they were basic. Every guy, here's the guy next door kind of pictures on Tinder. You never would have, never. And I tell my clients this all the time, like, you never would have known how amazing he was from his Tinder profile. I had no idea until he wrote me a really good opening message. And, then he planned a really nice date for us. He called me on the phone. He always showed up like a gentleman. But from his profile, no clue. He could have just as easily been, another guy who didn't call and was a total flake. Like, there was nothing to indicate in his profile and pictures that he was going to be my husband. I didn't get inundated with sparkly butterflies and angels descending on me while I was reading his profile or anything.
So, but there had been something in his profile that attracted you, or you wouldn't have clicked yes on it.
It's a numbers game. I clicked on probably 10 other profiles that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Oh, that answers my question right there. I said, okay.
Sure.
I thought there was something specific about his profile that you liked. Like, oh, I got to meet this guy. But okay. All right. Which goes into another one of your podcasts. You said, are you being too picky? I get accused of that all the time, especially from my mother. And you're being too picky. I'm like, well, why can't I be picky? Is it bad to be picky?
I think you should be picky about the right things.
Okay.
And what's really a priority to you? Okay, so spoiler alert. If you want, what is it that you want, like, relationship wise?
Whom you talking? You asking me?
Yeah.
I want somebody I can be comfortable with, somebody I can laugh with, have fun with, just go out and enjoy life with.
Okay, that sounds like a really reasonable thing to want.
Okay.
So why are you so picky?
I don't know.
Because haven't you already met somebody that you could have those things with at least a couple of times?
I thought I did a couple of times, but it never panned out, never worked out, and we went our separate ways.
Okay.
So it never really panned out that way. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, because I would think that those are very reasonable things to want in a partner. Somebody that you can feel comfortable with, relax with, have a good time with. If that's all you're looking for, then there are plenty of people that you could have that with. I thought you were going to tell me she had to be, have a PhD in bird watching or some crazy thing,
Well, she's got to look like Shania Twain, of course. Yeah, but that's a big plus right there, of course. But I'm also a believer of attraction isn't a choice. You don't have a choice of who you're attracted to. I'm a firm believer of that. I'm absolutely, because for instance, I could walk down the street and say, if I see somebody, a half mile away, say, hey, I want to be attracted to that person. No, you don't have a choice. Either you are attracted to them in a romantic way or you're not. You can say somebody is attractive all day long. And I'll say this with most due respect. I mean, you are absolutely gorgeous. You are extremely attractive. I mean, I'm sure you get that all the time. Even
it
before.
Didn't get me married. I was way more gorgeous when I was 30.
and that proves my point right there. You are attractive. But the husband you have now obviously didn't find you in your 30s, obviously. So the point is, he wasn't looking for your particular type. And once he found you, like, oh wow, she's gorgeous, she's beautiful, she's exactly what I want. And it doesn't matter what you look. I'm just using you and your husband as an example because we're talking about that. But you see people all the time. You see couples all the time. You're thinking, how in the world? You look at them, like, how in the world does she like him, or how in the world does he like her? You see that all the time. Again, because attraction isn't a choice. He's attracted to her, or she's attracted to him. There's something about that person that makes you attracted to him, and you don't know what that is. And I think it's part of the evolution of the human mind, and that's getting into way more philosophical stuff than I want to get into here. But I'm a firm believer of attraction isn't a choice. I'm a firm believer of that, and I hope I'm getting that across the way I'm wanting to. But maybe I'm thinking, you're probably thinking this is a goofball. Why am I even on the phone with this interview with this guy?
I do agree and see your point. I think especially for women, it can be not so binary. But that's an interesting conversation. So I do think that men know if they're attracted to women right away. I think that I'm not convinced it goes the other way. So I think women can be attracted to a man. I always tell my clients, okay, I don't think that attraction and chemistry is a choice. But what I do think is that women's attraction can increase when they like someone. I don't think it works the same way for men. I don't know for sure because I'm not a man. But in my experience, men kind of know, hey, I want to be with that woman. I'm very attracted to her. Men know first in the relationship if they want to continue or not. Women can be convinced. Women can, you hear this all the time. Women will go on a first date with a guy and be like, well, I liked him, but I'm not really so sure. And I say, if your attraction is on a scale of 1 to 10 for a woman, if it's anywhere above like a 6, give him a second chance. It might go up. If it's below a 5, probably not. You probably need to call it a day and find someone that you have a little more chemistry with. But I do think that, and I've experienced myself, that chemistry and attraction can grow for women, but there has to be something to begin with. There can't be just, you can't not be attracted to him at all, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. It does. Absolutely. Oh man. I just looked at the clock, man. I asked for a half hour time. We're over that already. Gee whiz. And again, I can talk this one all day long. And as you can see, I'm coming at it differently than you are.
Yeah.
And once again, I hope I'm not coming across as being the male chauvinist pig, one of those kind of things. I hope that's not come across that way at all.
I love getting a man's perspective on this. Actually, I really, really do love this conversation. Thank you.
This is great. And again, if you're tuning in for the first time, I'm with Renee Suzanne from ReneeSuzanneCoaching.com, online dating coach. Fantastic. We're having a great conversation. Let me ask you something about your business. Well, first of all, you have something coming up. I want to make sure we promote this. You have an online thing coming up, a live thing you have?
Yes, I have a free class to help you write a profile for an online dating app or a dating site or both. And it's totally free. And I'm going to give you the link so that you can sign up for this. If you come to this class live, I open it up to Q&A at the end, and you can bring me your questions and I will answer them.
Is it just for women or for guys as well?
It's for women and it's on Zoom. Darn
it. There you go. I need help, obviously. You're thinking, I can't help you. There's no way, this guy. And when is this class? What day?
This class, it's on July 24th.
Okay. All right. Now, July 24th, so it's coming up in a few weeks. We will put the link in the show notes in the description. But do you know the link off the top of your head that you can say it right now?
Yes.
Or just your website?
It's the longest link in the world. You're going to love this. It is ReneeSuzanneCoaching.com/profile live class.
Okay. So if they just go to ReneeSuzanneCoaching.com, can they find it from there? They just go to your page?
I just have the PDF up on the site because I hold these classes and Because I'm not a webmaster, actually, is the shortest answer to that question.
Well, that's fine. Believe me, I'm not either. Believe me. Awesome. All right. So, and also, if somebody is watching this, because it will be up on my YouTube page, and if somebody's watching this after July 24th, you also have something that you told me you like to help her write a profile. Do you have something there for
Yes.
that?
Yeah, just go to my website, reneesuzannecoaching.com, and right there on the homepage, there's a place that you can sign up and get the guide to help you write your profile.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, one more question, then I'll let you go. Because once again, we can talk all night long. This would be great. A guy such as myself, what kind of pictures would you suggest I put on my dating profile? Or
Yeah.
actually, any guy, what pictures should you and what pictures should you not put on your dating profile?
Awesome questions. And I'm so glad you asked, because you are doing a public service for all of the women in the world. So please, I hear complaints about guys' pictures all the time. And I say, please listen to my advice. I cannot make men post better pictures, but here I have an opportunity to tell men and women what makes a good picture. And this is for both genders. So please look straight at the camera and smile. Don't make weird faces or try to look, I don't know, like whatever. You don't need filters. Please, no hats or sunglasses. Wear clothes. Please wear clothes. We don't need to see you in your swimsuit yet, or in your bathroom mirror with no shirt on or holding up a fish. Just wear some clothes. Look nice. Smile in the camera. Be alone in the picture. Don't crop your ex out of that picture. We know you guys do that. And ladies, you don't do that either, right? Okay. So no hats, no sunglasses, smile, wear clothes, and don't do that thing in the car with your seatbelt on. Just get somebody to take a picture. Get your sister, get one of your kids, set the timer on your iPhone and back up. Like, just do something to get a nice picture of yourself.
And that goes both ways too. Because I'll tell you right now, ladies, if you have 4 or 5 pictures with 2 or 3 people in the picture, swipe left, you're out of here. I don't know who you are. Which one are you?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Don't do that. And being older like myself, don't have pictures with you and your grandkids or your little kids or something. Swipe left. If you want to introduce your grandkids the first, or if you have little kids, want to introduce those in the first sight, I don't think I want anything to do with you. And it's not because you have kids. It's like, all right, if you're going to lead with that, what's the rest of the conversation going to be like?
I think I think people just go through their phone and post whatever is on there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything more to it than that. So just take the time out of your day to actually snap some pictures of yourself specifically for this purpose, and you'll be fine.
Fantastic. All right. So I'm with Renee Suzanne from reneesuzannecoaching.com. All the links will be in the show notes. Don't worry about that. So Renee, it's been fantastic. Thank you for being here for my guest on Popcorn and Whiskey. Do you have any parting words before I let you go?
I would just like to say thank you so much for having the opportunity to have this conversation. It's been so interesting and fascinating, and I love having a male perspective.
And if you're more than welcome to come on the live show, Popcorn and Whiskey, anytime, you and your husband both, that'd be we'd have a ball. I guarantee we would have a ball with that one. So,
oh my God, we sure would.
we might gang up on you. I don't know if you like that or not. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. All the links will be in the show notes. Remember, Renee Suzanne at reneesuzannecoaching.com. Look for her on YouTube. The podcast is, what's the name of your podcast? Find Love After 40. Go check it out. Fantastic. If you go there, tell her that I sent you. And if you're listening to this or watching this, you don't have anything to write with, send me a message. I'll get it to Renee. No problem there. So we can forward it. So be safe driving, listening, whatever you're doing. So I'll stop it here. Renee, once again, thank you so much. And that's it.
Thank you.
So this is Andrew and Renee, Popcorn and Whiskey. I am the face who runs the place. And so until next time, this is us. Ciao.
All right, folks. There we go.
Hi, folks.
Right,
Andrew here. Popcorn and
Let
Whiskey.
me stop that. Okay. All right, here. Oh, I gotta do this over here. Hold on a second here. And all right, come back to it. All right. So that was the interview I did with Renee Suzanne
from Renee Suzanne Coaching. And there you go. My buddy Mark has been online and asking all kinds of questions about Renee. And I shouldn't say asking all kinds of questions about Renee, but he's making comments. Mark is my buddy from college. He's actually my college roommate's brother, who him and I were great friends because he went to the college for 1, maybe 2 years, the same college I went to. We had an absolute ball. Mark, if you're still listening, here's something for you. I was talking to somebody the other day here locally, and they brought up, and you're going to laugh at this one because you probably haven't even thought of this. And I'm going to tell the story. Well, maybe not the whole story, but they brought up the city of Monon. Remember the city of Monon? And I bet you're dying laughing right now if you remember that. So what are those kind of things? I'll tell you what, Mark, let me if you're game, hold on a second. Let me get see if I can do this or not. If you're game, right here, let's see here. Oh, I got something we can do, Mark. If I can pull this off. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. You'll know what I'm talking about in just a second. Go to this page here. Okay. All right. Mark's laughing. All right. Okay. Wait a second here, Mark. Oh, hold on, Mark. Hold on. Here you go. You want to call me right now, Mark? I'll get you live on air and we can chit chat. This ought to be fun. I haven't even spoke to Mark outside of doing messages here and there. And gosh, 25, 30 years? Probably at your brother's wedding the last time I saw you. Well, and the wedding back in the late 80s, early 90s. I don't know if we had any more since then or not. So if you want to call me, Mark, you feel free to give me a call. And there you go. I'll leave that message on there and that number on there, and you can call and see if I can get you on. But when I mentioned the city of Monon, that was where we went to school, or I went to school all 4 years. Mark went there 1 or 2 years. It was a small town in Indiana. I mean, Mark's from Cleveland. He's from a bigger city. I'm from small town Indiana, so I'm used to it. But on Friday and Saturday nights, there was nothing to do at the college usually, especially when you're a freshman and sophomore. You don't know all the places to go. Mark, let me put my glasses on. 765-505-7348, FIT. There you go. Call that number, and you can give me a call. We used to go to a town called Monon. In the Monon Theater was there. We used to go watch movies. I can remember a couple of movies we actually watched over there. I don't know if you still remember those or not, Mark. That was pretty funny. And we did a couple of things. I don't want to incriminate anything, but I'm sure you remember some of the things that we did over there. So, all right. Anyway, so that's what's going on there. So Renee SuzanneCoaching.com. That's who I just interviewed. And it's on my YouTube channel, Popcorn and Whiskey YouTube channel. Please go over there and subscribe. Brand new channel, looking for subscribers. Want to get that build up. I got the top fitness strategies going pretty well. And like to get it more, of course. But right now we're talking about popcorn and whiskey. And the thing about Renee is, Mark asked, what makes her an expert? I don't think she ever classified herself as an expert. She says she's a dating coach. Whether she's an expert or not, I don't know. Because to me, that's a whole different ballgame. You're being an expert. So if you want to equate it into sports, an expert to me is at the professional sports level. Professional baseball player, professional football player. All right, Mark wants the number again. All right, here. Call the hotline. 765-505-7348. 7348. And anybody can call it if you want to. There you go. And he says, oh man. So I'm trying to see if this is actually going to work or not, Mark. So if you call, so we'll see if it works or not. 7348 is the number. Yeah, that's it. 057-348. So her being a dating coach, because she's been successful at the dating and she's actually found a husband, and so on and so forth. Mark, you probably didn't hear at the beginning. She was first married young, and she had 4 kids. She said right off the bat, and her husband was killed somehow, or he died somehow. Okay, here. All right, here. Wait a second here. Allow. Okay. Hey, buddy, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing, guys?
All right. I hope people can hear you here. Gee whiz. This is the first. Mark and I haven't spoken on the phone since Joe's wedding. When was that? Do you remember what year was that? 90, 91? Something like that?
Probably around, what, 31, 32 years ago?
Something like that. Yeah. That's when I think the last time I saw you in person, because if I remember, weren't you his best man at that wedding?
What? I'm sorry.
I said, okay, somebody can hear you. I said, now you are your brother's best man at the wedding, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, yeah. So that's the last time you and I actually saw each other physically. I mean, in the flesh. Now, of course, we see each other on Facebook, pictures and stuff of that sort, and we haven't even talked since then. So this is wild. I mean, the universe is vast, but it's small at the same token. So where do you live now, Mark?
A small town, smaller than where you're from. Believe it, Clarksburg, Massachusetts.
Clarksburg, Massachusetts. Oh my God!
Population of about 1,700.
Mark is a Cleveland guy, and he goes to 1,700. Holy moly! Now,
we don't even have a stoplight.
That's funny. And if I recall, your wife's name is Ann. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And you were high school sweethearts too, were you not?
No, college. We met in college.
College sweethearts. Okay. All right. So what are you doing with your life now? What's going on?
Well, that's what's funny. She was saying, I can't remember her name, but Suzanne or whatever it was.
Yeah, Renee Suzanne. Renee Suzanne. Yeah.
Renee. Yeah. She's just saying that. What are you looking for? A PhD? She's like a doctor, whatever.
Yeah.
No, my wife is a doctor.
Well, all right. Good for you. Was she a medical doctor, or what kind of doctor?
She has her PhD in regulatory biology. She's a college professor.
Oh, wow. Good for her.
And that's how we ended out here.
All right. So what kind of college is in a town of 1,700 people?
Well, it's actually in the city next to it, which is probably has a population of under 10,000.
Okay. And what college is it? Give it a plug.
It's called the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts.
Of liberal arts. Okay. All right. That's what St. Joseph's College was, a liberal arts school too. There you go. That's what Mark.
Basically the same size.
The same size as St. Joe's?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
Not very big.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about, you remember Monon, right?
Yes.
Have you even thought about that since I brought it up since the last 30 years?
No.
It was
I told my wife I was chatting with you the other night, and I said, regales her with the story of the airplane mailbox.
I completely forgot about that. Holy moly. And I don't want to bring that up because there's too many ears in this town of people who
that.
But I don't even know how I can bring this up without bringing it up. So I really can't. Put it this way. Mark influenced me to be a little kleptomaniac.
I influenced you.
Let's forget about the mailbox. Let's talk about Monon real quick.
What about the pumpkins?
The pumpkins?
You don't remember the pumpkins?
No. I mean, I'm sure we did something with pumpkins, but I don't remember what they were.
Remember, it was when you were, I can't even remember the guy's name. Jerry, I think it was Jerry were roommates.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, my freshman year. Yeah, sophomore year. Yeah, Jerry.
we collected a whole bunch of pumpkins and put them in your room.
I don't remember that at all.
That's funny.
I don't remember that at all. Holy moly. So
Maybe you weren't even there.
what did we end up doing with them? I don't remember that.
We had like 30 pumpkins.
Okay. I don't remember that at all. So obviously you stole them from somewhere.
No, not us.
No, not at all.
That would be wrong. And we went to a Catholic college.
Of course. And it was a dry campus too. Right. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, I tell people that had to be one of the intense party schools that I've ever been at. For mostly being a dry campus.
Yeah.
And I always tell people about this after the little 500.
Oh my word.
About how they used to go down the halls with snow shovels because there was so much glass and trash on the floor.
Oh yeah, my mom and dad still tell my dad passed, but my mom still tells a story about the first time they came to the college. She said, walk down the hall, it smelled like a brewery in the place. So here's a story about Little Five. And for those who are watching or listening, at our college, we had a go-kart race. We call it the Little 500, and it rode around campus and it did so many laps or whatever it was. But it was go-karts by the people on college. They had to make the go-karts onto campus. So, and then they had a race, and they call it Little Five Weekend. And it was nothing but a huge party for everybody there. When I say party, I mean there was massive alcohol everywhere. I think the only people who weren't drunk were the drivers, which some of them was sketchy. The cars, and then I was also doing the radio broadcast a couple of times because I worked for a radio station. So we weren't drinking during the broadcast, but afterwards we were. But I had a buddy come visit me that year, and instead of being with me at the radio, the call of the race, he went up to Mark's room, who was on the third floor of one of the dorms, overlooking the race car track, where the cars go by. And we had these little plastic guns that showed out little round discs.
Oh, that's right.
They call them tracer guns. And, and that was a thing that back here in my hometown that we were constantly shooting those at each other, going down the road and stuff. So my buddy must have had a gazillion of these and 2 or 3 guns. So he went up to your room on the third floor, and you were shooting them all over the place. We were finding them for a year afterwards, all over the grass and everything at the college. It was so much fun. You guys were drinking and doing all kinds of crap up there with that, shooting people.
Well, you and my brother were on WPUM?
WPUM.
Like
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We were the big wigs on WPUM at the time. That's right. So,
yeah.
And here's something. So the last year of St. Joe's College, before it closed down, about 5-6 years ago, I think 6 years ago now, I went up for the last Little 500. Now I live about 2.5 hours away.
They were still doing it?
They were still doing it. And all the alumni is they have a big tent for the alumni tent, for those who don't know. And the tent basically had brats and beer and everything else in the tent. And it was a running joke when we were at school that if you're over 21, you have to go in a tent. If you're under 21, you can run around campus with the beer. So it was a running joke. Remember that? And so the last year I was there, they had of course the tents going on. And so I said, I'm going to go back to Gallagher, because the tent was between Gallagher, which was my dorm I lived in, and the dorm next door, which is the Hallis Hall. They were identical dorms. Big tent in between in the big lawn that they had, or the big field. So I said, I'm going to go back in Gallagher to see how people are reacting to Little Five. It was like a ghost town. Every door was closed, no decorations, nothing, nobody partying, no students anywhere. The only people on campus were the alumni. It was just the weirdest thing. Gallagher was completely dead. I mean, remember how we had stuff hanging out the windows? People had banners, like you were shooting stuff out your third floor window, shooting these little guns at. No windows were open, no doors were open in the halls, nothing. It was like a ghost town. It was the weirdest thing.
Well, it was the most alcohol I've ever seen on a dry campus in my life.
That's for certain.
As a freshman, they got us up at like 2 a.m. to carry the kegs upstairs.
That's right. The freshmen had to do that. That's right. And you lived on the third floor of a story building, the 3-story building. So that was always fun.
Yep. In the empty room, when they finished the keg, they put the empty keg in my room.
Oh, wow. Wow. I tell you, I don't know if you remember Chris Schubach or not. Remember her? Now, she was on the radio with us or not, but anyway, she became a big wig radio and television station around this area and also in the Indianapolis area, an anchor for news stations and on television and stuff like that. And then she's all at once, she just left the business completely. And now she's doing voiceover work and things of that sort. Her and I stay in communication every so often. But outside of her and your brother Joe, I don't really talk to too many people. I mean, I'm on a Facebook page with all the alumni and everything else, but I don't really run into too many people from St. Joe's at all. And I would assume you don't. You're there for what, 1 year, 2 years? How long were you there?
1 year.
1 year. And then you went other places.
Yeah, I went to Walsh University. Well, it was Walsh College at the time.
Okay. And weren't you working, or aren't you still working for a Radio Shack, or are they still in existence?
Well, yeah, no. Radio Shack went bankrupt.
Okay.
I actually worked in community mental health for 10 years.
Community
And then
mental
when I-
health. Wow.
Yeah, I have a degree in psych and soc.
Okay.
So when my wife got the job here, that's what pulled us here. I said, you know what, I need a change.
Mm-hmm.
So I just said, you know what, I'll do this until I figure out what I'm going to do. And I started working there. They asked me to be a manager. I didn't want to be a manager. I don't want to do sales. And I ended up saying, you know, if I'm here, I might as well do it. And I did that for like 15 years.
Oh, wow.
But now and then they went bankrupt. So, but now, so I went back into the field what I graduated for. So now I work for the state of Massachusetts. I work for the Department of Children and Families.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
So,
And I want you to brag on your daughter. I think it was volleyball, isn't she?
I have 2 daughters.
Okay, but you're posting
have
about
one-
one. Isn't she a volleyball player or was it
No, she's a basketball player.
basketball? Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
She has like 2 state championships. You know, she was a big fish in a little pond. You know what I
Okay.
mean? They're Division 5. You know what I mean?
Well,
But they're good basketball team. So,
I've seen you play basketball, so I know she didn't get her skills from you.
well, that's what we wonder. Because my wife's I was the track and field football kind of guy. but-
Exactly.
but
Yes.
my wife has no athletic ability at all. And she turned out to be like, she's 5'10". She's taller than me.
Wow. Well, good.
So,
Congrats.
So yeah, she's off to college in August. So
Now, does she get a scholarship for basketball anywhere?
no, she doesn't. You believe this? She doesn't want to play basketball.
Really?
Nope. She actually was gonna play rugby and
Wow.
track and field, but I guess they couldn't field a rugby team. They just couldn't find enough. Women's rugby, I guess, is very difficult
Mm-hmm.
because they don't play at high school. So it's, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So she's going to do cross country in the fall.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
shocked to play and then do track and field. They haven't in the winter and spring because they have an indoor and an outdoor season. But I find it funny because she played basketball and soccer all years at high school, and now
Mhm.
she's not going to play either in college. So
Wow. Now, you excelled, if I recall, in the field events, not so much the track events. And your brother
Yep.
was a sprinter.
yeah.
And now
yeah.
your daughter's
Well,
doing distance?
She's not. Well, you ready for this? She's a shot putter and discus thrower.
But she's
Well-
running cross country.
Well, yeah, she actually competed in the heptathlon, so
Mm,
she can do a little bit of everything. So
good for her.
you know what? What I like about it is she doesn't always have to be the best. She just likes to do it.
Good.
You know what I mean? And I told and me, I stress you're there for an education. I mean, sports are nice and everything,
Mhm.
but you know what? It doesn't get in way of your education. So
There you go. Absolutely.
so what are you doing besides this? Besides drinking whiskey and eating popcorn?
No popcorn tonight. Gee whiz. There is the fitness channel that I have, the Top Fitness Strategies, is gaining traction, getting better and better. I have been, gee whiz, in the last several years, and here's my life story in a 30-second thing. I was in the mortgage business all throughout the late 90s, early 2000s. Started my own mortgage business with a buddy of mine around 2005, 2006, right before the mortgage crash. I mean, literally about a month or two, and then the bottom dropped out of the mortgage business, and it was bad. It was
Perfect
bad.
timing.
Oh
right?
man, timing couldn't have been any worse. I go to back to the company that I left to start my business, and they said, "Well, we're looking for a mortgage guy in West Palm Beach, Florida." I said, "I can move. Hey, I was in Indianapolis. I can move. I have nothing holding me back." So I went to West Palm Beach. They said, "Well, this branch is going to be closing the mortgage division, but we can transfer you to the other side of the state over in Siesta Key Beach." I said, "That's great, because my parents live over there. They go for the winters over in Inglewood, which is about a half hour, 45-minute drive away." I said, "Great, I can shack up at their place and work over in that area. And then once I find a place, I'll move in, and no problem." All right. So I'm there. They got me going between two branches, running the mortgage division, two different branches for the bank I was in. All of a sudden, one day out of the blue, the big wig manager comes in town and says, "You know what? We're closing the whole mortgage division, and since you were the last one in, you're going to be the first one out. Goodbye." Like, oh,
Yep.
great. So that's twice that I was basically the job got eliminated. I didn't get eliminated; the job did. So in turn, I did. Explain that one on a resume. Can't explain it twice. You can explain it once, but can't explain it twice. Got hired onto what they call it. Basically, it's a forensic mortgage company where they look for fraud and stuff for mortgage divisions. Since I had a big mortgage background, great, no problem. In Jacksonville and Orlando, Florida, they said, "We're going to open up a division or open up a branch in Boca Raton, Florida, and so we would like for you to run it." I said, "Great." I said, "So we need to come up here for training, for experience, no problem." So I was up in Jacksonville for a couple of weeks, down in Orlando for a couple of weeks. And then they said, "We'll go down to Boca. We're going to show you the office and see if you can find a place to stay down there. And we're going to open up the office in a few months because we have a couple more clients coming on and we're expanding big time." Great, no problem. Go down there, check it out, looking for a place to live, go back to Orlando, do another week of training, go to Jacksonville, get to Jacksonville. They said, "Well, the companies we were going to bring on decided they pulled out. They didn't like what the direction they were going, and we wasn't going to be a good fit. So we're not going to do the Boca thing. Since we don't need you anymore in Boca, guess what? Last one in, first one out." I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" So this is 3 times on a resume. That's unexplainable. No one's going to believe that story. So I just started substitute teaching at different schools. And so I've been a substitute teacher for the longest time. And at this point in my life, no one's going to hire an old man to do anything.
You got that right. I know that feeling.
I actually interviewed at a Coca-Cola bottling place here locally. And this is the first time I ever told this story. And the guy he interviewed me was a year younger than me. And we were talking, and he says, "Man, you're the perfect guy. What we need for this, because we hire all these young kids who they're flaky day by day. You don't know what they're going to do." I said, "Great."
Yeah.
He says, "But you got a little bit of an issue." He's looking at me. I'm looking at him, and we're just dead sides for the longest time. I said, "Let me guess. It's my age, right?" He says, I can't answer that question. You've been in this game long enough." I said, "You're right. I know I can't answer that. You can't answer that question, but I know that's what it is." He says, "Well, it's not coming from me. It's coming from somebody up top, but we're going to look for, we're going to go elsewhere to find somebody." I'm like, "I got it." I understand completely. I'm like, "Okay." The guy felt really bad, but we both knew the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. So it leaves me just doing odd things around the town and doing this internet stuff, trying to make it work for me. There you go.
Yeah, but I heard you had said that you were almost teaching on a daily basis too, right?
Yeah. In the state of Indiana, you have to get a teaching license to do it, which I am not willing to go back to school for another 3 years. I have no desire to go to school and have somebody teach me 3 years from classes that I've been experiencing for the last God knows how many years, which I could probably teach it better than they can. So
Mhm.
the agency I'm working through is not it's not the school system, it's a temporary agency, but they have a full-time contract with the school systems around here. So
Okay.
every year for the last 4 years, 5 years really back in this area, they've given me a long-term contract year by year. I said, guys, why don't you just hire me full-time? Well, we can't because you don't have a teaching license. I said,
Yep.
I don't have a teaching license, but you want me to do everything that a teacher does. So explain that one to me. So it makes no sense. Yeah.
Well, that's the same here. You have to have a master's
Mm-hmm.
and a license here. They'll let you teach, but you have to get your master's and license in I think like 3 years, or you lose your job.
For high school?
Yeah.
Okay. So in other words, if the school system hires you on, you have to get your master's within 3 years.
And pass the licensure test.
Okay. Okay. Now over here, I don't know if you have to get your master's or not, but you have to go to school and pass your licensure test and all that stuff, which again, I am not willing to do at this point. I did.
Well, and I'm guessing that schooling is pretty much like a you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They call it you have to get like your master's in education to
Yeah.
teach, so.
Yeah. So, and at this point, I said, you know what? I don't know if I want to do that or not, just for the fact that, and I've heard too many horror stories about guys showing up on the 6 o'clock news. Let's leave it at that. And I've experienced it, not personally, but I know somebody who was accused of doing something at a school which he didn't do at all. Just
Yeah.
and a student accused him of doing it, and the basically school system says, you know what, it's easier for us to get rid of you than to go through this. So goodbye. Like, got it. So
Yeah, I tell you, it's rough. I
Yep.
wouldn't want to be a teacher.
now I have a good friend who's a teacher down in Texas. He went to high school with me. He's down in Texas, and he's out of it now. He says, I'm not doing this anymore. So no, Mark, if I were to do it again, and as much as I loved St. Joe's College and going there, I would have went straight to the military. If I had to do it again, just for the fact that I would be retired right now.
Well, that's what I tell my wife that when I was in college, I used to work for the park system here,
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
which was a government job and a good job. If I would have done that instead of college, I'd have been retired already.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have had 30-some years in. And
I know 3 or 4 guys I went to high school with who went straight to the military, and they're all retired now. One of them passed away, God rest his soul. But one of them passed away, but the other two are fully retired and living life and traveling the world with their spouse, and doing what they want to do.
yeah, a lot of the full timers I worked with
Mm-hmm.
that were my age and they just started at the park are all retired now.
Yeah. So interesting life sometimes. I do odd jobs here around to help out as well. I mean, I have a friend who's a bricklayer, he's a fantastic mason, and he calls me when he has big jobs, and so I'm his laborer. But that's getting old too. I can only lift so much now with being. I don't want to keep saying older guy, but come on, I don't move as well as I did when I was 25, 30 years old. That's for certain.
I understand that totally.
Because you're 55, aren't you? You're 55.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about a
When
year
my
or two older
daughter
than
my daughter's like, let me carry that, Dad.
you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Absolutely.
Go ahead.
I have 2 nephews when work they have to do something. I said, you do that. You're the young guy. You pick it up. I'm not picking it up. So
That's what. Yeah.
So what's
and
your
my one daughter's married, so I'm like, my freezer went in my basement. And I was like, between the 3 of you can figure out how to get it out. I ain't carrying that thing up the stairs.
Good for you. So hey, what's your brother doing now? Is it still a State Farm?
He's doing really well.
Good.
All of his kids are pretty much, they're done. He has Ryan. You remember Ryan?
Yes. Yes.
She is a nurse now.
Okay.
She's married, has a kid. His second oldest, Kathy, was an RN.
Okay.
Didn't like it. She's in some sort of IT, Ryan's married, Cassie's married. She's in some kind of IT. Her husband, I guess, is a really big IT guy. And his youngest is around 24, and she is a pilot for UPS.
Oh, wow. Good for her.
So she's all over the country. So she's trying to work her way up to flying the big jets.
Mhm.
She wants to be a commercial pilot. She went to school to be a pilot.
Oh,
And I
wow.
guess you have to work your way up to bigger and bigger planes and do
Okay.
all this kind of stuff. And yeah, so
Wow.
she is thinking Michigan right now. The other one is still around here, Ryan, and I mean in Ohio, around here.
Mhm.
And Cassie is in Colorado.
Okay.
So he still lives in Brunswick, Ohio, Brunswick Hills, actually.
Okay. Wow.
Still a State Farm agent. Yep.
So, and no, this is not making for good podcast stuff. I tell you, just me and you reminiscing. No one's listening anymore. I'm telling you. But no, I interviewed for a State Farm franchise in my area, and I went through 3 different interviews, and I had to take I guess they call it an opinion test or something like that. And apparently they didn't like my opinions. They said, "Well, we're gonna let it go this time, but you can try again in a year." And I said, "I think my opinion is going to change in a year." He said, "Well, it might." I'm like, "All right, contact me in a year." I don't know if it will or not based on some of the questions you asked, but okay. So,
Yeah, he started different though. He didn't start with a franchise. He started out working for agents, selling, I think, life insurance at first, then automobile insurance, and he built himself up to get his own, I guess they're contract. They're not, I guess, whatever it is, because
yeah.
I guess he doesn't work. They're independent contractors, I guess, is what they call it. So
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how that works, but yeah, I mean, he's been doing it for a long time because when I lived in Cleveland in 2003, 2004, and he was an agent then, and he had all my insurance, and I lived over there. So I know he's been doing it for a while, at least 20 years. It's got to be coming up.
oh yeah, if not longer.
Good for him.
I think what's funny is that I had life insurance. My wife had life insurance. My kids had life insurance. He wasn't an agent at the time. And when he became an agent, my wife goes, because we had our own agent back then. We went to State Farm, but we had a different agent.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, all of the invoices, the bills for the life insurance started showing up from his office. And it's like, he's not our insurance. He went and took all the policies and transferred to his office. He didn't even ask.
And damn, brother, that's kind of illegal, but it's my brother, so it's all right.
Yeah. But I don't care. I just think it was funny. He goes, "Oh, I had nothing to tell you." I'm just like, okay.
Joe, he was. Wow.
Yeah, we were just here for the 4th.
Wait, you were in Cleveland, in Brunswick?
Yeah, we did every year we try to go to his house and we do a big. We go to, I don't know if you know, do they have Phantom Fireworks out by you?
Phantom Fireworks. I know the name. They like sell the place that sells them, right? Phantom Fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
We go out and put on quite a show. So his city. His city. I don't even live in a city. I live in a township. That's okay.
Okay.
We don't even have our own post office either. That's okay. We don't even have a freaking store. They made fireworks legal for one day out of the year.
Oh my gosh.
So we go a little overboard, and we always did. So
good. Now, does he still live in the same house that don't want to bring up the name, but him and Lori bought back in the early 2000s?
Yes.
Okay. I helped him move furniture in that freaking house.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I'm glad I was gone, because you know why? I helped him move so many times.
I don't remember what it was. I just
Mandalorian.
remember he called me one day. He says, "Hey, can you come over and help? Move something?" I said, "All right." I don't remember what it was, but I helped him move stuff.
Yeah, he's still in that same house.
See, I lived in Broadview Heights when I was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've been around.
Yeah. Let's see. I've been in Clinton, where I live now, Rensselaer, of course. I went to school there. Indianapolis, what's it called? Broadview Heights, West Palm Beach, Florida, Inglewood, Florida, Noblesville, Indiana, and back to Clinton. So yeah, I've been around. So
Wow.
oh yeah, I know different cultures around the country, and believe me, every place you move to has its own rules. You knew that probably going from Cleveland to Massachusetts. I bet you had some culture shock going on, didn't you?
Well, everything here closes at 8, and they lock the gates and roll up the sidewalk.
Oh yeah. And
I went from being able to get or go. If you needed something, you could go out at 1 a.m. and get it.
Mm-hmm.
Here, you're stuck till the next day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
no one knows what pop is here.
it's all soda.
It's soda.
I know
What the hell's pop?
the different places I lived. I forget which place called it what, so I just always call it soda pop. That's why there's.
Yeah.
And I say soda pop, and then don't worry about it there. That's absolutely. No, I mean because when I was training for that company, I was going between Jacksonville, Florida, and Orlando, Florida, just outside of Orlando, and they were about 2.5, 3 hour drive away from each other, and they were completely different areas. I mean, they were talking completely different. Then when you go down another 3 hours to from Orlando to Boca and Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach area, holy moly, is it different? Then going straight across the street to Inglewood, completely different. It's like different countries. And of course, going up from Indianapolis to Cleveland, they're similar in size, but they have what I call different rules in the places. Then you come back to a small town, Indiana, it's completely different as well. So yeah, I've experienced it all. it is a world of difference. Unless you know what you're doing, you'll get in trouble real quick.
Well, I laugh because they talk about the rough parts of North Adams and stuff, and I'm like, really, people? It's freaking North Adams. And these kids are like, well, we're in a gang. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm like, you guys have no clue.
You laugh at them. That's right. Absolutely.
It's the Jeep. It's the Jeeps and the 4x4s and mud, and seeing who can get their Jeep to go through the mud hole, and and because I'm up actually in the mountainous area, so
oh wow,
a lot of back roads, a lot of hunting's big up here.
Now help me out with the geography up there. How close are you, or do you even border Vermont?
I am right next to Vermont.
Okay, because I have a friend who lives in. I don't know where she lives in Vermont, but she lives in Vermont.
But I am right in the upper western part of Massachusetts, and I border New York and Vermont.
Okay.
So I could travel through 3 straight states probably in a matter of 15, 20 minutes.
Say that again. You where?
I can travel probably through New York and Vermont and Massachusetts probably in 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
I'm like 3.5 hours away from Boston. That's how far.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm looking at my friend right now. She lives close to, and I don't know if exactly the town she lives in, but she lives close to a place called Middlebury, Vermont, or Montpelier, Vermont.
Montpelier. That's the capital.
Okay. Are you close to that?
I'm a couple hours.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They had some bad flooding.
Yeah, that's what she was posting about. Yeah, bad flooding. Yep, that's what she posted about. Okay.
But I'm so close to Vermont that it's funny because my daughter, they don't have a preschool in Clarksburg, but they have one in I can't think of the name of the town now. Oh geez. It's right over at Stamford, Vermont. and that's where my daughter went to preschool. And I always used to tell everybody, "Oh yes, we send our daughter out of state to preschool," but it's only like 5 minutes away.
Oh,
to
that's
make it sound
great.
like
That's
upstate.
great. Well, gee whiz, dude, this has been fun. This has been great, and I know we scared everybody off the podcast. They're not listening anymore. They're like, "Who are these two yahoos talking about stuff we don't know anything about?" This is funny.
Well, because half the stories we can't talk about.
Well, at least not the mailbox story. No,
Well, I think the statute of limitations is up on most of them.
still, I still go by that place, and that mailbox is no longer there.
I wonder why. Somebody else probably took it.
Could have been. Could have been. What about the
You
pop?
ever hear? You
Was
ever
it?
hear from Jerry or
You know,
his name was Jerry?
yeah, my roommate Jerry, my sophomore year. After I graduated, I got in touch with him, and I went up to Gary and visited him for one day, and that was the last I heard from him. So I couldn't even tell you what his last name was at this point, and or how to get in touch with him. Have no clue, none.
How about that kid? What was it? Mike Hodge?
Oh, geez. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, and I talked to your brother about this. Well, message your brother back and forth about that, Mike. He's I don't want to get into this much because you and I are on opposite sides of this. I don't want to get into politics much.
I
But
don't care.
but when he found out that Joe and I were on the opposite side of the spectrum as he was, he unfriended us both on Facebook, and I haven't heard from him
Are you
since.
kidding me?
Nope.
That cracks me up.
It does. I was like, whatever. Come on, man. Like we're really gonna hurt each other or do anything just because we have different political views, for crying out loud. But no.
Well, half the time I just say crap to Joe just to piss him off. We're sending crap.
Oh no, but no, Mike, last I heard, because him and I were when Facebook first started, of course we became Facebook friends, and I lived at the time in West Palm Beach. No, I was actually in Jacksonville. That's right. And he was in New York City on doing stuff on Broadway, or trying to get on Broadway, I guess, in a smaller stature than Broadway, in the smaller plays and stuff. But he was on a
Yeah.
traveling show that was going to be in Jacksonville, and him and I were thinking about hooking up or going out for dinner or something, and it never came through because I wasn't going to be there at the same time he was, or vice versa, or something like that. I forget what it was. But that was the last time actually him and I were messaging back and forth until I found out that he unfriended us. And I haven't, and since then I have no idea. No.
Well, you know what's I just don't understand it. But what's funny is a guy I used to work with, Scott, Joe, sorry.
Yeah, Scott.
Got
Yeah, I know.
Did his insurance, was doing his insurance. The guy saw Scott's political views on Facebook and pulled his insurance from him.
Oh my
They
gosh.
hate each other. They hate each other.
Oh my gosh. Some people are like that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So no, and who else back there that you might know? Who was your roommate back then? Do you remember who's your roommate? Do you remember?
Derek Civey.
Who?
Derek Civey. He was a shortstop on the baseball team.
I don't remember that name at all. No. I played baseball
Hold
for 2
on,
years
hold
there, and
on.
that was it.
Wait a second. Was it Derek? No, that was at Walsh. I don't even remember who my roommate was. Oh, it was, what was his name? They called him Big Bird.
Big Bird.
Played football.
I don't remember that at all.
You know,
Uh-uh.
and he was friends with Mike Puerto.
Oh, geez, there's a name I haven't.
Remember?
I remember the name. I couldn't tell you anything about him.
He was probably the biggest hillbilly ever walked baseball.
Remember you remember Don Pitcher?
Yes.
Yeah, him and I would get in contact every so often, and And a few times I went up to the reunions or something like that, and at the college he was always there. But last I heard, he had some sort of cancer. I gotta reach out to him because hopefully he's still alive. But no, he was running a landscaping company. Last I heard.
Okay.
Yeah, still
That
in that
other
area.
guy,
Yeah, he was older. Yep.
the
And
Bob guy. Who was Bob?
Bob,
Scott got the motorcycle off of him. Bob
he was up in Cleveland with you guys. What was his name? Bob Piper.
Piper. Yeah, he was going to be a priest.
I don't remember because he went to school with you guys or high school with you guys or something, didn't he?
No, I don't think he did.
He was from Cleveland.
I don't know if he. I don't remember that. All I know is that he was. I thought he was going to be he was in his freshman year. He was, but then he decided not to be a priest. And because remember they used to have the seminary there
Oh yeah.
where yeah.
I remember when because the some of the girls who were studying to be beauticians and stuff, why they're doing that at St. Joe's College is beyond me, but they would come over and cut the guy's hair in the bathrooms area, in the bathroom, the sinks and everything else. And some of the priests were getting their hair cut, and guys would walk by, "Hey, Father, you getting a little trim, are you?"
Oh, but and there was the one father. He was Italian.
Dr. Capicelli?
No, father. He was the
Okay.
priest.
Well, there's a lot of priests there, for crying out loud.
No, but he was heavy Italian accent, shorter. I can't remember his name.
I don't remember that guy at all. I'm sure I would have talked to him if he had an Italian accent, but I don't remember that at all. There was Father Tim. It was his first few years when we were there.
I can't remember his name. Maybe I don't know.
I don't remember a father with an Italian accent, not at all. No. So
He was always in the dorms too. He was a younger priest.
the only younger priest I remember is Father Tim, who's actually on one of our softball teams, our intramural softball teams. Father Tim. And I saw something on one of our one of the Facebook groups I'm in for St. Joseph's College. I think he retired recently, or something happened to him recently, or something like that. So that's good for Father Tim. Good. So
That was probably the worst class I ever took in my college career. Was philosophy of religion.
my gosh.
The class was actually held in the residence there where all the priests live.
Yeah.
It was taught. There were 4 of us in the class. It was taught by, I can't remember the father's name, but he also wrote his own the textbook for the class.
Wow.
It was horrible.
That was one of the math classes I took. As Father Reevy did the same thing. He wrote his own textbook. That was wild. Yeah. My gosh, we could. These are bringing back memories I haven't even thought about in 30 years. Holy moly! I don't remember how I remember these names, but I do. That's
Then I
wild.
remember like they had that fountain and there was a lake.
Yeah,
It was
Lake,
pretty camp.
beautiful campus. I mean, and I go through there if I drive up north at all, because it's about 2.5 hours from where I live. If I have to go up north, I'll take a detour and go through the campus. It's still a beautiful campus, absolutely breathtaking, beautiful campus.
Is it empty?
They keep trying to do different things up there since the college closed, and that was a big fiasco as well. I mean, they announced it at the last second. I actually, when I went up to the last Little Five that they had for the alumni, I went up there. I was talking to some folks who literally, this was in April or May, whenever it was, April or May. Literally, they said in December they were there with their kids who were graduating high school to get them enrolled in St. Joseph's College, and no one said a word to them. So come April or May, they said, "Sorry, we're no longer going to be around here. We're gone. Goodbye. Find other solutions."
Wow.
Oh yeah, they were not happy. They were there to raise some hell when they were there. I don't know whatever happened, but
because they even had the grotto you could walk through.
Yep, they still had that.
And,
yep, at that time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They had some good times there.
And then there was the Drexel Hall or whatever was across the road that was closed
Yep.
and supposedly haunted.
I never went there. I was too petrified to go there. Did you ever go to Moody's Light?
Yes, I think we went together.
Yeah, I'm sure we did. And this one,
Because
Marty was there with his Jeep. We went there with Marty in his Jeep, who's shooting the tracer guns with you. Yeah, absolutely.
because there was also that church that you were supposed to be able to see people in the windows.
Yeah.
Moody's Light was where you stopped down the road, flashed your headlights,
Yep.
and then the headlights were because the guy hung himself or found his family was hung or something
Yep.
like
Yep.
that.
Yep. What that actually was, and I'm surprised no one ever told us that back then. But I did some research after school, especially when the internet started coming around, and the road that Moody was on, let's just say it faced north. I forget the direction. Let's say it faced north. That road goes for a mile straight north, and then it goes to a 90-degree, goes another couple miles, then another 90-degree, couple miles, and back, and then there's a road in the same plane as it, like 2 miles past where the first 90-degree turn is. So the lights were always headlights from other cars coming in the distance. That's why they kept getting brighter and brighter from the highway or from the road. That's what it was. Yeah. So
I forgot all about that.
yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Do you remember the Gap sisters?
At the truck stop.
Yeah. The only place to eat after a certain hour.
That's right. The truck stop. Wow. The Gaps. I think we were the ones where my roommate Jerry was the one that started calling them that, and it was just us that called them that, the Gap sisters.
I know, but it's like I said, things that pop in your head you haven't thought of it.
Wow. That's interesting. So who was your friend that rode his motorcycle from Cleveland to the campus to visit you guys, and something happened, he got mad and turned around and went home that same night?
Jim Bigger. Something happened with his girlfriend or something.
Something like that. What was his name?
Jim Bigger.
Bigger. That's right. He drove the 8 hours on his cycle. It was there for about 2 hours and turned around and went home.
Yep. And
Wow.
then there was Henry Lee Summer performed.
Oh man, I still tell people about that. I said we performed 2 years in a row. I said the first year sold the place out. The place went nuts. We really, because I was on the student council my senior year, and I wasn't on student council. I helped them out quite a bit. I did a lot of stuff with them because I wanted to be part of it. And they booked. That was my junior year. They booked him again the following year, and he got booed off the stage. It was so horrible. My God.
Did he really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, because around where I live here, he was a local around here. Everybody loved him. He played everywhere around here. Yeah.
Because I remember he performed when I was there as a freshman.
Yep.
And he just had made it big.
Yep.
But he was from that area and had already agreed. And I wish I had a girl walk like that or something.
Oh yeah. I still have his CDs. Absolutely. I still have 2 CDs of his. Yeah. Believe it or not. I don't know why I kept them, but I do. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Wow. Henry Lee Summer. Huh. No, speaking of that, I got Pat Benatar playing close by here in about a month. I don't know if I'm going to go see her or not. I'm debating. I don't know if I want to remember. Benatar was our girl.
Oh, still my girl. we have there's a place called Tanglewood, and it's kind of like it has like a little indoor pavilion, but then you can bring your lawn chairs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah.
And she performed there, and then COVID shut it down.
Oh wow.
So and she hasn't come back yet. So I was hoping.
That's like around here. It's an outdoor theater. She's going to be performing. But,
yeah.
But it's a freaking. It's a Sunday night. I don't know if I want to go because if I'm at school the next day, I'm like, I don't want to stay out late till Sunday night and go to school the next day. I'm too old for that.
That's me too. I don't. Me and my wife went out for dinner tonight. We're sitting there because one daughter's working, my other daughter's birthday's tomorrow, and she's out with her husband, and we're looking through the freaking grocery store ad. I said, "Boy, how times have changed."
And then you started watching my live stream. What the
Yeah.
heck? Wow,
They
dude.
try to get you to smile and laugh. I can see when you read certain things.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I was trying to figure out because I didn't want to interrupt the show I did with her to start commenting. So that's when I was like, okay. And I didn't know how I could respond to you because the platform I'm on, if I respond during the platform, it doesn't show up on Facebook. I have to go to Facebook, and if I responded on Facebook, it messed up the live stream. So I was like, ugh,
Well,
I'm
and
still
then
trying to figure it out.
then I was worried, like, can she see these too?
No, because she wasn't live. This is what we recorded the other day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was up in my live stream I was up in the left hand corner of the show. No, what her and I, this is something we recorded the other day.
Oh, okay. Now I got it.
It was a replay. So that's what I think. I said, I bet Mark doesn't know this is a replay.
I didn't even notice. How did you you find her?
And this is what we talked about at the beginning of the thing. I'm on a Facebook page where it's basically it's called Need a Guest, and people who have podcasts are on there, and they said, okay, I have this kind of podcast. I'm looking for this kind of guest. And I said, well, I have this podcast called Popcorn and Whiskey. I'm open to any kind of guests whatsoever. And she responded. I said, this is going to be great. Just for the fact that she is a dating coach, and I have a background in I don't want to say background. I studied a lot of what they call the art of picking up
Okay.
stuff quite a bit. So I said, we're going to have a good time with this one. And then I started thinking, well, I don't want to butt heads because that's not what it's all about. I wanted her to get her. I want to make her look like a superstar because that's what I do with all my fitness podcasts. I've interviewed probably close to 150 to 200 folks on over all these years on the fitness podcast that I do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm pretty good at this interview stuff. And it's not a bragging thing. It's just you have to do it as much as I do.
So did you have a lot of people on? Did a lot of people ask to be on your podcast?
On the fitness part, yeah. Because I also promoted that I had a fitness podcast. I'm like, holy moly, my last 15 have been through this particular Facebook ad. I'm like, wow, and I'm still getting more people. This Facebook post, a Facebook group, I should say. So it's been pretty good. But I want to build up the Popcorn and Whiskey, but I want to take it in a different direction because I don't want people just to think it's all about popcorn and whiskey. So I want to be more philosophical and mindset stuff and stuff that I'm into that way. So
Okay.
we'll see. I listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of talk radio stuff, and I enjoy that kind of format.
Well, here you go. You're the only podcast I listen to.
Well, go check out Top Fitness Strategies and see if you like that one or not over on my YouTube page.
I'll have to.
Yeah, get over there. So, well, dude, I'll tell you what, it's getting to be 11 o'clock. I'm going to sign off here. We're going to have to do this again sometime because I know no one else is listening. Just me and you talking right now.
Well, that's how it starts sometimes.
Absolutely. I'll have people in the next couple of days say, well, we listened to it. And then, okay, great. Fantastic. So I'm sure people will comment afterwards. But
say, who's that jackass that was on with you?
They better not. Are you kidding me? My good buddy Mark will talk once every 30 years. One of those kind of things.
Well, I'll see you again in 30 years.
Let's not make it that long, okay?
Okay.
You are welcome to
Maybe
call
one day
anytime, my friend.
Maybe one day I'll try to get Joe on.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
You and Joe.
And if you want to be on camera, we can make it so you can be on camera. But you can call in just the same, and it'd be fine.
I'm not tech savvy. So
I did not know that. So no worries. Honestly,
no, I couldn't. That number was so because I'm on my phone watching.
Oh, okay.
And that number was so small. I'm like, I can't read that number. I'm searching around for my glasses. I'm like, I'm too old. What does he think I am to read that number?
Oh wow, dude, we'll have to do a reminiscing show one day. Get your brother on here, and then we'll get see if I can get other people or not and call in. It'll be fun.
Okay. You take care.
All right. Tell your wife and daughters I said happy birthday tomorrow and congratulations with everything. And we'll talk again soon, my friend.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. That was my friend Mark. We went to college together. I was roommates with his brother. We were great friends. And first time we've talked in a long time. So that was a ball. So I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to end it here. But I appreciate everybody being on and putting up with us. Whoever lasted this long, it's been great. And thanks again for Renee Suzanne for being my guest earlier. And it was a replay of a podcast, and that you can find her at ReneeSuzanneCoaching.com. Also, go to Popcorn and Whiskey YouTube page. Check it out over there. And I'll just leave it there. And so I'll stop it here. Let me do a few things here. All right. So appreciate everybody being here. So I'm going to stop it. Appreciate it. Andrew, Popcorn and Whiskey. I am the face who runs the place. We'll do this again soon. Take care, everybody. Until next time. Ciao.